The Hindu terror bogey, so carefully constructed by investigative agencies, has been delivered what could amount to a death blow in just a few moments. You will see and hear a voice that has never before featured on television. Sudhakar Chaturvedi was arrested by the ATS in connection with the Malegaon blast case in September 2008. Chaturvedi was accused of securing the RDX that triggered the blast that killed 6 and injured over 100. Out on bail, Chaturvedi now makes claims that are astounding. Up front, let me introduce you to the hard facts this evening. And that is the first hard fact on your screens. Chaturvedi tells Times Now, virtually delinking alleged Hindu terrorists like Lieutenant Colonel Purohit from the procurement of RDX. Chaturvedi claims RDX linking alleged Hindu terrorists to the blast was planted by ATS officials sworn to the Congress, sworn to the UPA dispensation. At least 2 other witnesses echoed Chaturvedi's claims of ATS officials planting evidence. Chaturvedi's testimony therefore weakens the case implicating Hindu terrorists to Malegaon blasts, and his claims will therefore put pressure, additional pressure on the NDA to probe allegations that UPA constructed Hindu terror to defame the RSS and the Bharatiya Janata Party. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a definitive turn. An accused who claims that he was coerced, an accused who was ferreted away and never allowed to speak to the public because he was implicated allegedly in a crime that was obviously committed to secure hostilities between 2 communities, is now speaking to Times Now. Many people will say, why are you questioning or giving legitimacy to an accused? Well, let me tell you that Hari Salve, who was arguing for Lieutenant Colonel Purohit's bail some days back in court, said this about this man, Sudhakar Chaturvedi. He says that the report of inquiry reveals that RDX was planted by ATS officers in the house of Sudhakar Chaturvedi, who was an accused number 11 in this particular case. Statements of prosecution witness 180 and prosecution witness 183 also indicate same, but courts below disbelieve the NI version in this regard. Very, very important. While arguing for bail for some of those who are accused in this Hindu terror alleged conspiracy, Mr. Harish Salve says that this man on your screens was coerced on the back of inquiries that have been taking place and whose reports are being submitted and have been taken cognizance of. Here for the first time is Mr. Chaturvedi speaking on camera. Listen to him carefully.
सर, आपके घर पे आरडीएक्स मिला करके एटीएस का दावा था, जिसके बिना पर आपको और पुरोहित जी को अरेस्ट किया था, लेफ्टिनेंट कर्नल पुरोहित को। और जब एनआईए ने जांच की तो कुछ और ही कहानी आ गई कि 17 दिन पहले कोई एटीएस का ऑफिसर आपके घर पे दिखा था बगाड़े करके। क्या हुआ था आपके हिसाब से?
हमको 23 अक्टूबर 2008 को गिरफ्तार किया नासिक से। हमको ऑफिस बुलाया उन्होंने, उनके ऑफिस में गया मैं। वहाँ से हमको डायरेक्ट मुंबई लाए। मुंबई लाने के बाद में टॉर्चर किया, मारा पीटा, बता किस ब्लास्ट में हाथ है। हमको ब्लास्ट हुआ था भी पता नहीं था, लेकिन मैं उसमें गांव में था जिसमें ब्लास्ट हुआ था। कुछ समझ में नहीं आया हमको कुछ लोगों का नाम पूछा, इनको जानते उनको जानते, हम कहाँ जानता हूँ, तो उन लोगों को उठा लाए। इसके बाद हमको मेजर उपाध्यक्ष पकड़ा, कुलकर्णी को पकड़ा, साध्वी जी वहीं पे थी, इंदौर कुछ लोग आए थे, हमारा किसी जान पहचान नहीं था। फिर ऐसा एनआईए की चार्जशीट के हिसाब से कि 3 नवंबर को शेखर बगाड़े हमारे घर पे गए, ऐसा चार्जशीट में एनआईए की। और वहाँ पे जो किया वो आगे इतिहास है सर। आर्मी के 2 ऑफिसरों ने उनका देखा रखते हुए। फिर हमको जब 20 नवंबर को ताबा लिया थाना जेल से मालेगांव ब्लास्ट में, फिर हमको नासिक हमारे घर ले गए 25 नवंबर को लीगल झड़ती के लिए। तो मैं घर पे गया तो हमारा सब सामान असमैत पड़ा हुआ था, मैं पहचान गया, लेकिन ऐसा कभी हो सकता है हमको मालूम नहीं था। हमारे घर भी आ सकता मालूम नहीं था।
हाँ।
तो वहाँ पर हमको कुछ टीम बुलाई, वहाँ के पंच बुलाए, कुछ कापूस से उठाया वहाँ पर, तो एक गोनी में छोटा सा कुछ तो सफ़ेद गिरा था। एड्रेस कैसा होता है, काला होता है, पीला होता है, नीला होता है, कुछ पता नहीं हमको।
आप कर्नल पुरोहित को कैसे जानते थे? क्योंकि इसके बारे में दो पक्ष हैं। एक कहता है कि आप अभिनव भारत के नेशनल कोऑर्डिनेटर थे और दूसरा पक्ष कहता है कि आप उनके इन्फॉर्मेंट थे, आप आर्मी को इन्फॉर्मेशन दिया करते थे।
मैं उनका सोर्स नहीं था, मैं आर्मी का सोर्स था।
आर्मी के सोर्स?
कर्नल साहब एक माध्यम है, इससे बहुत से ऑफिसर हैं, तो मैं आर्मी का सोर्स हूँ और बहुत काफ़ी समय सोर्स हूँ मैं। उनके जो क्राइम होते हैं समाज में जो था कि उनको मैसेज खबर देता था मैं। और रही बात अभिनव भारत का मेरा कहीं रिकॉर्ड नहीं काम करने का, ये संस्था है, मैं RSS कार्य करता हूँ, RSS में काम करता था मैं, RSS का प्रचारक रहा हूँ, मैं नसीम प्रचारक था मैं। इतना ही दोष है हमारा कि मैं हिंदू संगठन में काम करता हूँ, मैं हिंदुत्ववादी हूँ। तो वो लोगों को यही चाहिए था, हिंदू के नाम पे बदनाम करने का है।
और कर्नल पुरोहित को आपने कभी जानकारियां दी हैं? ये जो आप बोल रहे थे कि आप सोर्स हैं आर्मी के, उनसे पाला पड़ा है?
हाँ, मालूम है कर्नल साहब को, माध्यम वही थे हमारे, सोर्स बनाने के माध्यम वही थे।
अच्छा, मतलब आप इन्फॉर्मेशन निकालते थे और उनको देते थे,
वो आगे बढ़ाते थे। तो माध्यम हमारे वही हैं, दूसरा माध्यम नहीं है।
अच्छा।
लेकिन लोग बोलते हैं कि पुरोहित का सोर्स है, मैं आर्मी का सोर्स हूँ, पुरोहित सोर्स नहीं हूँ।
तो फिर ये जो भी हुआ आपके साथ, आपके हिसाब से क्यों हुआ है?
कुछ नहीं, RSS को बदनाम करना था, हिंदुत्व को बदनाम करना था, RSS बैन लगाना था। इस वजह से उन्हें कुछ हिंदुत्वादियों को फंसाना है, माध्यम बना के बम ब्लास्ट का, RSS को बैन करना है। कांग्रेस सरकार थी, सीधा ओपन है, सबको पता है चीज़। अभी से ओपन हो गया है। अभी वो अभी सब भागवत जी को गिरफ्तार करना था, उनको बयान लेना था। अभी ये सब पेपर में आ रहा है, न्यूज में आ रहा है, तो कहाँ से आ रहा है? वो प्लानिंग वहाँ थी। वो ज़्यादा बोलूँ नहीं, केस न्यायाधीन में है, तो गलत हो जाएगा थोड़ा ज़्यादा।
That was a definitive testimony of a man who has been locked away. The only time he has made these claims is in court. This is the first time he's going on record, and he is risking obvious attention to himself at a time when he claims that he has been the victim of a conspiracy. A large number of individuals will now pounce on this individual and will say that Sudhakar Chaturvedi is trying to wriggle out of a case in which he is guilty. That might be an obvious thought to ponder, but he has been supported by two others, ladies and gentlemen. There are two other witness statements, not accused, but witness statements of Subedar Pawar and Major Praveen Kanzore, who have come out and echoed the same views that this alleged accused is today expressing 2 times now, saying that RDX was planted by the ATS that was working at the behest of the UPA led by the Congress to try and defame Hindus and the RSS. Is there truth to all of this? Of course, that matter will be decided in court, but it can be a subject for debate. I will go to the guest, but first let me go straight across to Kajal Iyer. Kajal, many people will say that this man is trying to save his own skin. Why is it that we should take him with a degree of credibility?
Well, the question really is that there are several cases between 2006 and 2009 that the Maharashtra ATS had taken up, and all of these important cases, be it 7/11, be it Malegaon 2006, be it Malegaon 2008, the moment a central agency came and took over those cases, witnesses started falling apart, case details started changing, and this is the same pattern that we are seeing in this particular case. When it was being investigated by the Maharashtra ATS, at that time they said that Chaturvedi was not an informant, but he was actually someone who was the national coordinator of the RSS. But when the court of inquiry happened, and also when the NIA took over, there appeared these two witnesses who say that they saw 17 days before the Panchnama had happened, they saw API Bagade of the ATS at that particular place, and this testimony has been relied upon by the NIA in the charge sheet that it had filed last year.
Very interesting, very interesting. And let me point out to what has been said in the past and what has been referred to in various depositions by individuals who have been referred to even in the Supreme Court. The individuals that I have just mentioned, Subedar Pawar and Major Praveen Kanzore, both have come out, and these are some of those documents right here in my hand. Both of them have come out and said at different points that the RDX, which is really the critical link between so-called Hindu terrorists and the Malegaon blasts and even the Samjhauta blast, was planted. Now I want to go across to Nikunj. Nikunj, many twists in this case, but this could be the break point, because if one can prove that the RDX was planted by and motivated ATS at the behest of political masters, the case is almost over, at least as good as it.
Well, absolutely. Absolutely, Rahul. The fact is that this individual, in fact, you know, one should be at a certain point of time grateful that this individual, after going through all the torture that he has, chosen to speak to Times Now. The fact of the matter is that the adjudication of the case will happen in the courts. But I can tell you a few things. I have spoken to the top brass of the National Investigative Agency on multiple occasions. And unequivocally, I have been told that Sadhvi Pragya was brutally tortured, that Lieutenant Colonel Purohit was tortured, that Sadhvi Pragya was electrocuted, that as a result of that torture, that lady has suffered permanent damage to her organs and her health, I beg your pardon, failed miserably. Now, if you have a strong case, as the ATS anti-terror squad so claimed in those particular years, till the time Maharashtra and the centre both had the Congress governments, then where is the need to torture? Where is the need for planting? And remember, this planting of RDX is a fact of which the Supreme Court of India took cognizance of, believed in the NIA charge sheet, passed remarks saying that NIA is not a superior agency in the law, but nonetheless, in this case, the NIA's investigation appears to be more credible than what the primary law enforcement agency, which is the anti-terror squad Maharashtra, has done. These are the remarks passed by the Supreme Court of India. So, if you do not have a case, it is then only you torture individuals, you try to extract confessions, you try to build a flimsy case. We put out a story in which we very categorically said that Mr. Mohan Bhagwat was also being made a terror suspect. The head of the RSS in this country was also being made into a terror suspect. So the fact of the matter is that without the backing of a political dispensation at the very highest level, both in the state of Maharashtra and in the government of India, these cases would not have dragged on for that many number of years with a particular spin to them. Even if the ATS was trying to give that kind of spin in a particular direction, that would have crashed and crumbled under the weight of some honest inquiry by the Home Minister of the state and Home Minister of the country. That was never done, but the investigation was a directional investigation.
Very, very important points that are being made by Nikunj, our internal security editor. Stay on with us. I want to introduce our guest panel. Joining us this evening will also be, of course, a reaction from Brigadier Ranjit Bor Thakur, who is the boss of Colonel Purohit, who will also vindicate that there was something amiss in this entire case. I want to introduce Major General G.D. Bakshi, Hitesh Jain, spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party, Sanjeev Poonalekar, a lawyer, Shehzad Poonawala, who's appearing tonight as a lawyer for also those who claim to be victims in this case.
They are real victims.
And Asif Bhamla, political analyst. I want to go first straight across to you, Shehzad Poonawala. After this particular testimony, made for the first time to Times Now in public, is there a major blow, death blow, so to speak, to this artificial construct to defame Hindus called Hindu terror?
So you're saying this construct of Hindu terror was created 9 years ago? Correct? That's what you said in your report and your opening. Mr. R.K. Singh was the Home Secretary during our government, the UPA government, and at that time he said that 10 RSS people were involved in these blasts across the country, and 3 of them got convicted in the Ajmer blast, Patel Joshi and another person, Devendra Gupta. Now I want to ask you, is R.K. Singh a part of that conspiracy? If he was, then why did BJP make him an MP? So that throws your conspiracy angle out. But second point I want to ask of Nikunj, and I respect Nikunj, he's a fantastic reporter. He said that the NIA charge sheet has been relied upon by the Supreme Court. The NIA charge sheet says the following about Mr. Colonel Purohit, whom you are making a hero, that there is prima facie evidence, sufficient material on record to prove his involvement in the offence, and he is guilty of waging war against the unity and integrity of the nation. Why aren't you taking this statement of the charge sheet seriously? You gave him a hero's welcome when he came out on bail, and now you are making this hero out of this accused. He's an accused. You know, you're doing you're being an apologist for Sanghi terror. You're being an apologist of the highest order, and you're only second to Mr. Amit Shah, who goes and now gives a witness for Maya Kodnani, who's been convicted. So I think you're only in that rank. You're number 2 to Mr. Amit Shah. Amit Shah goes and stands witness for Maya Kodnani, and you are glorifying an accused.
Let me read out.
Is he not an accused?
Quoting and parroting the Supreme Court, let me also read out a few things that the Supreme Court has said.
I am talking about the NIA charge sheet,
Let me finish. Let me add perspective to this. You know that the Supreme Court granted bail to Colonel Purohit and went on to claim that there were contradictions in both the ATS and the NIA charge sheets filed by both intelligence agencies. You will remember that? Will you say, is that a fact?
Did the NIA not agree with the conclusion of Maharashtra ATS?
Did the Supreme
Are
Court
you impeaching the integrity of Mr. Hemant Karkare?
Now look, you can't shout me down.
If this accused has been framed,
in our considered opinion,
Colonel Purohit has been framed, why aren't you charging ATS officials with all the crimes that they have done?
You said your piece.
Why aren't you charging them?
You said your piece.
And this Sudhakar Chaturvedi is an accused as per the NIA.
You have made some selective statements. Let me also
put down...
How is it
selective?
No, 1 second.
Is he in the 9 people's accused list of NIA?
1 second. Can you give me 30 seconds, please?
Yes.
To put the facts out, because on Upfront we deal in facts. And I want to put the facts out. What did the Supreme Court said on the day Colonel Purohit got bail? In our considered opinion, there are material contradictions in the charge sheets filed by the ATS Mumbai and the National Investigative Agency, which are required to be tested at the time of trial. Exactly. And this court cannot pick or choose one version or the other.
That's right.
So there is an implicit acknowledgement that there are 2 versions. The question arises, is the ATS version dictated by political masters?
How do you know the NIA version is not?
That's the subject.
How do you know the current NIA version is not?
It may well be. That is the subject of the debate.
40 witnesses turn hostile in Ajmer blast. Dozen witnesses turn hostile in this case. Mr. Sharad Kumar is given extension after extension. Rohini Salyan and Avinash Rasal, both special public prosecutors, say we are not happy with NIA. First time in 70 years, prosecutors are objecting against the investigating agency, saying we are not being consulted, we are being pressurized. So, which is the case? I think the NIA version is the one we can't rely on. You are absolutely right, Mr. Shivshankar. You are absolutely right. Wait for the court to come out with the verdict.
Mr. Poonawala, 1 second. Mr. Poonawala, with regard to witnesses, the judgment reads, a perusal of the statements of various prosecution witness recorded under section 164 of the code by the NIA, it was revealed that the ATS Mumbai forced them. I'm not saying it. The Supreme Court is saying it. So right now, you're on a very flimsy wicket. Now let me finish. Force them to make the statements under the aforesaid section by threatening them to falsely implicate them in the case. I'm not saying it.
So tell me one thing. Now,
the Supreme Court has included this in their 1 minute, sir, please. You made the charge that how is it that we are not questioning the NIA version?
Yes,
well, the ATS seems to have coerced people into making statements. I'm not saying it.
So
it's a matter of record. 1 minute.
Rahul,
let me open this out. I'm not the person.
Sadhvi Pragya and all these accused, the accused went to court multiple times for bails, and the bail pleas were rejected despite this plea that they were being tortured.
In the end, they got. So therefore,
that means were the other courts complicit? Were the other courts complicit in torturing them?
I don't know.
Were they complicit?
I don't know.
Don't make a judgment on the other courts. They were rejected bail by Bombay High Court.
I am not making the judgment. The people who are representing these accused made a judgment by moving appeals. Now,
why are you picking one version?
Under the law, we have the right to legal recourse, and we can keep going up the chain till we get justice. That's the law. Now, we've set this up, and I want to play out yet another individual who has spoken to Times Now. Listen to this. He was the person who was the immediate superior of Lieutenant Colonel Purohit. This is a very important testimony. Listen to this testimony.
This case happened, the starting point, to best of my knowledge, was the intelligence from some intelligence official from our sister intelligence has reported the matter to Army headquarters about the likely involvement of Purohit in this case. So what has happened when this type of incidents happen, Army carries out interrogation. Army calls that suspect, suppose he is a suspect, and carries out interrogation. In that case, other intelligence agencies, so many are there, IB and others, if they feel, and if it is their information, they also can come and join the interrogation after the due formalities. But in this particular case, what was observed, that for whatever reason, instead of we carrying out the interrogation or investigation, I would say, immediately the person was handed over to another agency, which probably, I do not know. Either the involvement was so great that they were so loss of, they didn't want to lose time and immediately they carried out investigation. But logically, it would have been best if the officer was called to a particular place, carried out by the expert. We have very good expert interrogators, and the civil intelligence would have come and discussed, and they could have taken it logically.
Very important. And the question therefore arises, why is it that the ATS suddenly took over a case that should have been, according to Brigadier Ranjit Borthakur, should have been investigated by the army? And that only underlines once again, perhaps it was done under some political logic. We don't know. I'm only extrapolating. But the question that has to be asked is, why are so many people standing up for these individuals? Why are they risking their credibility, their reputations to defend what Shehzad Poonawalla says is an open and shut case of Hindu terror? We'll take a short break. We'll take a short break. That's implied. We'll take a short break. We come out to the others on the panel.
I have a problem with open-ended questions. Questions that allow for obfuscation.
You have not answered any of my questions. You have danced and deflected. Don't make us wear dunce caps, sir.
Questions that don't yield the hard fact.
What would you have had Major Gogoi do? Should he have opened fire? I'm asking you, should he have opened fire, yes or no?
Because only the absolute fact will clinch the argument.
15 judges have sat in judgment of Pakistan. Were you about to commit premeditated murder?
Only airtight questions bring closure.
Here is a meticulous register of payments which goes straight into the Hurriyat office. Is the Hurriyat nothing more but the Dalal of Pakistan?
Why settle for anything less? Demand the absolute hard fact.
No one knows their true metal until it's been tested. Until it emerges from the fiery chasm of experience, as it flows through the true course of credibility. Until it gives form to raw insights, striking every lead with full force on the anvil of journalistic integrity, fortifying your trust with our principles and values. We know our true metal because you've tested it. Time's now. Action begins here.
The Morning News Hour.
You are just bothered up saying Hindu and Muslim. We are not saying Hindu and Muslim. We are saying what's wrong and what's right, sir.
When people try and misconstrue and portray a wrong image, you have to call their bluff.
Thanks for joining me live.
Our crusader for the people.
We're going to end this debate on the fact that it's crime ki baat. It's not parivar ki baat, it's crime ki baat.
His questions can't be avoided.
She has been strangulated. You are contesting elections in Uttar Pradesh. What is happening in Uttar Pradesh?
His cause won't be denied.
You know you're sitting there with a responsibility.
4 people died, nobody was bothered. Today a girl has been strangulated, it is still a hodgepodge investigation. How is this right?
His passion for justice sets the agenda.
Most importantly, integrity and honesty. We as a channel fiercely guard that, and I as a person fiercely guard that.
Anand Narsimhan on Times Now. Action begins here.
The Morning News Hour.
Times Now believes action begins here. It's that action that we demand from those who govern us.
You're refraining from using the word unconstitutional. Do you have any regrets that justice still doesn't seem to have been delivered?
In your parliamentary experience, there has ever been an issue like this on which a Prime Minister has resigned?
We ask the question you, the people, want to ask of our politicians.
The entire Ishrat Jahan case now seems to be a cover-up. Do you think the Congress is on a losing wicket? Are you shying away from a debate with Arvind Kejriwal?
No. The facts that are hidden behind the files. Why political parties are hiding behind that unknown sources, donation, income, uncomfortable questions, because it is these questions that need to be asked.
You made that statement about Sohrabuddin and justified his killing. Do you think it was a mistake?
What does it take for unassailable leadership?
The Hindu terror bogey, so carefully constructed by investigative agencies, has been delivered what could amount to a death blow in just a few moments. You will see and hear a voice that has never before featured on television. Sudhakar Chaturvedi was arrested by the ATS in connection with the Malegaon blast case in September 2008. Now, for the first time, Chaturvedi, who was accused of securing the RDX that triggered the blast that killed 6 and injured over 100, speaks out. Out on bail, Chaturvedi now makes claims that are astounding. Upfront, let me introduce you to Chaturvedi's statements that de-link the alleged Hindu terrorists like Lieutenant Colonel Purohit from the procurement of RDX. Chaturvedi claims RDX linking alleged Hindu terrorists to the blast was planted, in fact, by the ATS that was being tutored by political masters in the UPA government, starting right at the top. Listen to him.
सर, आपके घर पे आरडीएक्स मिला करके एटीएस का दावा था, जिसके बिना पर आपको और पुरोहित जी को अरेस्ट किया था, लेफ्टिनेंट कर्नल पुरोहित को। और जब एनआईए ने जांच की तो कुछ और ही कहानी आ गई कि 17 दिन पहले कोई एटीएस का ऑफिसर आपके घर पे दिखा था बगाड़े करके। क्या हुआ था आपके हिसाब से?
हमको 23 अक्टूबर 2008 को गिरफ्तार किया नासिक से। हमको ऑफिस बुलाया उन्होंने, उनके ऑफिस में गया मैं। वहाँ से हमको डायरेक्ट मुंबई लाए। मुंबई लाने के बाद में टॉर्चर किया, मारा पीटा, बता किस ब्लास्ट में हाथ है। हमको ब्लास्ट हुआ था भी पता नहीं था, लेकिन मैं उसमें गांव में था जिसमें ब्लास्ट हुआ था। कुछ समझ में नहीं आया हमको कुछ लोगों का नाम पूछा, इनको जानते उनको जानते, हम कहाँ जानता हूँ, तो उन लोगों को उठा लाए। उसके बाद हमको मेजर उपाध्यक्ष पकड़ा, कुलकर्णी को पकड़ा, साध्वी जी वहीं पे थी, इंदौर कुछ लोग आए थे, हमारा किसी जान पहचान नहीं था। फिर ऐसा एनआईए की चार्जशीट के हिसाब से कि 3 नवंबर को शेखर बगाड़े हमारे घर पे गए, ऐसा चार्जशीट में एनआईए की। वहाँ पे जो किया वो आगे इतिहास है सब, आर्मी के 2 ऑफिसरों ने उनका देखा रखते हुए। फिर हमको जब 20 नवंबर को ताबा लिया थाना जेल से मालेगांव ब्लास्ट में, फिर हमको नासिक हमारे घर ले गए 25 नवंबर को लीगल झड़ती के लिए। तो मैं घर पे गया तो हमारा सब सामान असमैत पड़ा हुआ था, मैं पहचान गया, लेकिन ऐसा कभी हो सकता है हमको मालूम नहीं था। हमारे घर कोई आ सकता मालूम नहीं था। तो वहाँ पर हमको कुछ टीम बुलाई, वहाँ के पंच बुलाए, कुछ कापूस से उठाया वहाँ पर, तो एक गोनी में छोटा सा कुछ तो सफ़ेद गिरा था। आर्टिस्ट कैसा होता है, काला होता है, पीला होता है, नीला होता है, कुछ पता नहीं हमको।
आप आप कर्नल पुरोहित को कैसे जानते थे? क्योंकि इसके बारे में दो पक्ष हैं। एक कहता है कि आप अभिनव भारत के नेशनल कोऑर्डिनेटर थे और दूसरा पक्ष कहता है कि आप उनके इन्फॉर्मेंट थे, आप आर्मी को इन्फॉर्मेशन दिया करते थे।
मैं उनका सोर्स नहीं था, मैं आर्मी का सोर्स था।
आर्मी के सोर्स?
कर्नल साहब एक माध्यम है, इससे बहुत से ऑफिसर हैं, तो मैं आर्मी का सोर्स हूँ और बहुत काफ़ी समय सोर्स हूँ मैं। उनके जो क्राइम होते हैं समाज में जो था कि उनको मैसेज खबर देता था मैं। और रही बात अभिनव भारत का मेरा कहीं रिकॉर्ड नहीं काम करने का, ये संस्था है, मैं RSS कार्य करता हूँ, RSS में काम करता था मैं, RSS का प्रचारक रहा हूँ मैं, नरसिंह प्रचारक था मैं। इतना ही दोष है हमारा कि मैं हिंदू संगठन में काम करता हूँ, मैं हिंदुत्ववादी हूँ। तो वो लोगों को यही चाहिए था, हिंदू के नाम पे बदनाम करने का है।
और कर्नल पुरोहित,
Is it true that Hindu terror, is it true, ladies and gentlemen, that Hindu terror was an artificial construct to defame Hindus? We're still debating this big subject. Sanjeev Punalekar, Hitesh Jain, spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party, Major General GD Bakshi with us, Asif Bhamla and Shahzad Poonawala. Question goes straight out to you, Hitesh Jain.
Well,
can you hear me, Hitesh Jain? Can you hear me? Are you there?
The campaign of UPA and Congress was floundering. Yes, I am there. I can hear your... Yeah, in 2008, the campaign of Congress and UPA was floundering. They were unable to build any political narrative. Elections were round the corner. On top of it, they were facing the heat with the Mumbai blast and the terror attacks that happened over a period of last 2-3 years when they were continuously being asked, the questions were being asked on the national security. And having felt cornered,
you are a lawyer,
having felt completely
you please
cornered,
tell me that the NIA has made this person an accused. The NIA has said that Purohit continues to be an accused, charged of waging war against India. Are you being a spokesperson of these accused? First, you clarify to me that are you a spokesperson of Colonel Purohit, who is an accused as per the NIA in its last application against the bail of Mr. Purohit in Supreme Court? Are you an apologist for him, or are you a spokesperson for Mr. Purohit?
Mr. Poonawala,
you are a lawyer. The NIA is saying he is an accused.
Have some patience. Have some patience. Have some patience. Have some patience. Allow me to complete the point. I did not interfere when you were speaking. So please have some patience and listen to others also sometimes.
I am only trying to understand that I am here as a lawyer. Are you here as a lawyer for the accused, or are you here as a BJP spokesperson? Are you a government representative, or are you a representative of these accused terrorists charged for terrorism by your NIA? I want to know your role. I am here only as a lawyer. Are you as a lawyer
Mr.
for these accused, for these terror accused,
I am not here to clear your understanding. I am not here to clear the understanding.
The nation should know.
Clear the understanding.
How is it that so many of these? How is it that so many people are coming out today and making these claims that Hindu terror was a complete construct? That's
I am afraid that the BJP spokesperson is defending a terror accused.
You use the word like Hindu terror.
Just like.
So are you defending a conspiracy to malign Hindus? I'm asking you, are you defending a conspiracy? No, I'm asking you, are you defending a conspiracy to malign Hindus, allegedly?
You wanted to malign
Hindus. This is a very important point. No, don't make this communal completely. No, 1 second. You are deliberately making this communal.
You are being a cheerleader for accused terrorists.
If you are today upholding the UPA regime actions which have been castigated by several statements by various... No, I want to bring in General Bakshi. General Bakshi, go ahead, sir. General Bakshi, over to you.
Rahul, let me firstly place this thing in its context. In the year 2008, as you are aware, there were a number of terrorist attacks that were taking place. There was pressure on the then government to retaliate against Pakistan. For a number of reasons, including American pressure, they were not in a position to do so. To stave off the public pressure, the pressure of public opinion, it is very horrifying to see that a kind of a narrative was deliberately crafted to create the bogey of Hindu terror, to try and sidetrack the public anger. And let me tell you that all the attackers who came,
this is not a figment of your imagination. This is not some 9 o'clock news story of cooking up. This is not some experience you're imagining that didn't happen to you.
You have no business talking about everybody else.
The court,
what are you trying to hide?
Has convicted 3 RSS people for Ajmer blast.
Stop talking over everyone.
1 second, let the general speak.
Stop. We know your connections with the Sangh Parivar and Vivekanand Foundation, but be true to the facts.
Okay, 1 second, gentlemen, please.
He has no business to heckle everyone.
One second. Let's be orderly.
You have the license to silence Gauri Lankesh. You have the license to silence Chaturvedi.
Don't hit under the belt. No, don't hit under the belt, please. Don't hit under the belt, please. Shraddha Punara, don't hit under the belt. Don't drag Gauri Lankesh into all of this. We have no reason to assume that the rep of the right. No, 1 second. 1 second, please. Let's rise above this political name calling. 1 minute.
They had come with Hindu threads and had Oblate not sacrificed himself, that would also have passed on as a Hindu terror attack.
R.K. Singh said that these people were involved in this terrorism.
R.K. Singh was only going to say what his agencies are going to feed to him. If the agencies themselves are feeding information which was perhaps motivated, what do you expect a bureaucrat to say? Sorry, maybe that's the reason why today, maybe that's the reason why he joined the Bharatiya Janata Party, because you're contradicting yourself, because he was fed up of the lies. Maybe that's why he joined us.
So during his service he said nothing.
Gentlemen, please.
So much was integrity.
One second.
So much was integrity.
No, I'm sorry. I think he has spoken on this issue. 1 second, Mr. Punara has spoken many times on this issue and has come out to say that he is very, very aware that there were certain twists and turns in this story.
No,
1 second. That is why. You cannot hold. Look, you've had an individual.
Congress built a false propaganda. That is what we should debate today.
Are you doubting the integrity of Hemant Karkare?
1 minute. Listen. Don't talk about those that are not here to defend themselves.
You are impeaching.
Nobody is impeaching anybody. There are individuals, sir, who are saying that they have been forced to make. I am not saying this. Eyewitness 1, eyewitness 2. There we saw the door of Sudhakar Chaturvedi's room was open, wherein it should have been closed. I entered Sudhakar Chaturvedi's room and saw API Bagade was alone inside and doing something. On seeing me, immediately came out and pleaded to me that I should not inform this incident to anyone and not to his seniors. Otherwise, it would be dangerous for him and his job.
Why are you doubting the integrity of Hemant Karkare?
Hemant
Karkare
no, 1 minute, please, gentlemen.
Chaturvedi, whom do you trust?
Okay, gentlemen, please. Gentlemen, 1 second, please. I trust individuals.
Do you not trust
1 minute.
Karkare?
1 second, sir.
You trust this
1 second,
Sudhakar Chaturvedi, an accused
please. Everyone has a right to defend.
Well, yes.
Everyone has a right to come up. Excuse me. Everyone has the right to come out in defense of their own name.
Any day.
Sudhakar Chaturvedi is not in the army.
Rahul,
what are you saying?
I will not have
He was an RSS Pracharak.
He's talking about Lieutenant Colonel Purohit. Please, 1 minute.
No, but why is he defending the RSS Pracharak?
Let's not derail this. Let's not derail this, please. You've had your say, please.
Program.
Mr. Punara, please.
He has no business to heckle every panelist on this program. He's not the only one who's allowed to speak.
1 second, please. Let him speak.
You are uncomfortable with the facts.
Please, no. 1 second.
It's derailing of political agenda.
You might be uncomfortable with the facts, so Mr. Punara, please give us.
I want respect for Hemant Karkare.
Also show respect to your fellow panelists. Please don't make this into a shouting match. Please give it 30 seconds, please. Let's have an opinion here. Let's have a debate here based on certain considered points of views. Okay? 1 minute. Now, General G.D. Bakshi, why is it that you believe that this is a complete construct based on absolute fallacies? Why is it that you believe that Hindu terror is a lie?
Certainly. I will tell you, Rahul, when the case first came to light, we were astonished that an intelligence officer, an officer of the military intelligence, was accused of having RDX. Intelligence units do not store RDX. Engineer units do, commando units do, and in case RDX is captured from the terrorists, then it is submitted, it is made as case evidence, it is held by the unit which has made those recoveries. An intelligence officer has no concern, has no way that he can get his hands on RDX from a military source. Then we had the court of inquiry conducted, and the court of inquiry, it clearly emerged that this man had been keeping surveillance of this organization and keeping his superiors
informed. I have one question of Mr. Bakshi.
These ATS were seen around their
if this is the case, Why has NIA concluded the same thing as Maharashtra ATS? Why has NIA concluded the same thing as Maharashtra ATS about Purohit?
Okay, let me bring in Mr. Punalekar.
Why has NIA said that military grade RDX was used?
From Mr. Poonawala to Mr. Punalekar. 1 minute.
And thirdly,
Let's move from
why has
Poonawala to
NIA made
Punalekar.
Sudhakar Chaturvedi accused?
One second. Let me move
all
from
3
Poonawala
points
to
NIA
Punalekar.
agreed with ATS.
1 second. One second. Mr. Poonawala wants to come in on this.
Even though I am an advocate of the accused, I will put some objective facts here. Fact number one is...
Mr. Punalekar wants to put some objective facts down. Yes, Mr. Punalekar.
Though I am an advocate of Chaturvedi, I will not speak anything as an advocate of Chaturvedi, but I will say some practical facts which are actually on record. Fact number one is that when Parrikar became the defense minister and a request was made to him to produce the army records, instructions were given to the President General of Army and the records of army have come. There two things were found. Number one, the statement of Praveen Khansode and Subedar Pawar, which just now Rahul referred, that was available in army record way back in the year 2008, December 2008, and efforts were made to submit it, the efforts failed. So it is not something wherein we believe Karkare. Yes, I do believe Karkare, but if we believe Karkare, it doesn't mean that we can disbelieve Khansode as well as Yadav, this Pawar, and we also disbelieve the President General and all the generals which are so far. These were on record. The pass which was given to Chaturvedi, that he is an army informer, that is available in army record from 2006. No, please don't interrupt.
Or not?
No, please interrupt. I will tell why NIA stated. Why I am coming to that. Let me complete. See, that 2006 onwards, the pass is available in record. Third thing regarding Karkare, the officer who is alleged, Shekhar Bagde, not only this case, forget about Hindu terror, in some of the cases where the names of Muslims came but they could not catch the Muslims, they have made some bogus accused, and the 2006 Malegaon accused who are Muslims, they have also accused the same Shekhar Bagde of keeping the RDX. Now the question is this, officers, whether it is Shekhar Bagde, Rajan Gule or the officers are same, the minister of the Congress was the same.
Just like
okay, what do we know? 1 second, gentlemen, 1 second, what do we know?
Yes,
1 minute, gentlemen, please.
Investigation.
Okay.
Karkare has no role in investigation.
I'm only asking 4 or 5 basic questions here.
Then you should believe the
Let's
version
put the
out by
questions out
Karkare.
on the screens. These are the questions. This is what we're debating. I'm going to come straight across to Mr. Bhamla in just 30 seconds. Do Sudhakar Chaturvedi's revelations prove that Hindu terror was an artificial construct to defame Hindus? 1, 2. Let's put out the questions. 2. Is it true? Is it true, ladies and gentlemen? Is it true that investigations into terror incidents under the UPA were colored by political motives? Let's look at question 3 on your screens now. Ladies and gentlemen, if Sudhakar Chaturvedi is right, then why hasn't NDA ordered a probe into alleged politics over terror under the UPA? Let's look at the other question, the question number 4 on your screens now. Is the Congress further muddying waters by claiming that the NIA under the NDA is sabotaging the Malegaon and Samjhauta probes? That is something that this lawyer sitting in our studios, Mr. Poonawala, seems to be suggesting. Why? I want to go straight across to Mr. Bhamla. Mr. Bhamla, where do you come on this? The fact of the matter is, you have a situation where witness after witness, accused after accused, as well as individuals from the army, independent of this entire investigation, are coming out and saying Hindu terror is a fallacy, it's an absolute lie. Were you part of this conspiracy to malign Hindus, sir? Big question. Straight to you, Mr. Bhamla.
You see, terrorism, whether it is Hindu or Muslim, terrorism in itself and fundamentalism in itself is a community. After 9 years, Chaturvedi's service is surfacing after the NIA had said that Purohit is accused in the NIA. Now, I wanted to remind my friends here on the debate, I was hearing today's Prime Minister's speech in Varanasi, where he said it's important for focusing development along with inclusivity. Today, we are even distributing the terrorism also into a Hindu terrorism.
You want to include Hindus to make inclusiveness. What is this?
What are you saying?
What's such a statement? That means you want to dub Hindus as terrorists. That is
don't make this a right versus issue. Don't make this a BJP versus Congress issue. Don't make this a BJP versus NCP issue. Excuse me. You are coloring this entire debate, sir, tonight.
You see, the general feeling of the people of the country The general feeling of the people of the country is that the government is in place is going soft on cases where Hindu accused are involved.
And what are you reading from? What are this prepared text? Who has given you this? No, who has given you this prepared text? Who are you reading out? No, 1 second. You tell me first. What are you reading out of? Whose notes are you reading out of? Because General G.D. Bakshi says you are slandering a community.
No, I want to ask Chaturvedi, where was he till now? After
he was in jail.
He was in jail. He was in jail. He was muzzled in jail.
My friend,
he was rotting in jail. Have a heart, sir.
There is
Have a heart.
Court of inquiry.
You stand on top of rooftops defending the rights of those who are languishing in jail because they belong to a community, but you have no sympathies when they belong to the majority community. That is disgusting. People's human rights are above religions and identities. Excuse me.
Rahul.
No, do we take...
I'm not saying that. I'm only saying that there are accused after accused who are coming out and the courts are recognizing that there's coercion involved. There are top lawyers who are making points about... Excuse me, Mr. Bhamla. There are army officers who are saying it, who are not accused. There are individuals who are onlookers in this case, but linked because they were around at that time, politically connected, who say that there was a motive.
Of the army officers, Major General Bakshi, I respect the sentiment.
No. What about Brigadier Bo Thakur? What about Brigadier Bo Thakur? What about several others who have stood in the army COI itself? The court of inquiry. 1 minute. General Bakshi needs to come in. General Bakshi, the army has taken a position on this matter. I want you to come. No, 1 second. I want to come out to you.
Immature. We should still.
Rahul.
It is too immature to comment on this.
Rahul, can I please come in?
I think.
Yes, General Bakshi.
Rahul, the question that we would like to ask is, why was an army court of inquiry, an official document, ignored? Why was it sidelined? Why was it not taken into account? There is a military justice, a whole system of military justice. This case should not have been handed over to the police. The army was competent to try this case itself. Why was this case handed over? Why was pressure put?
Unfortunately.
No, I'm asking you, do you believe Mr. Shehzad Poonawala, the army lies in this country? Do you think the army has no integrity? I'm asking you, does the army lie? Is it an institution that is given towards...
Let me answer that.
No, Rahul,
why was it not given credence?
No, let's ask him. Let's ask him. Mr. Poonawala, are you doubting the army? Tomorrow you say the army also carries out human